Well, broken down in Iowa. Truck is barely running. I don't know if it's a fuel injector or what. Just something popped on the expressway. We're looking for a garage right now. It barely goes 30 miles an hour. I can't catch a break. We did find a garage that's open on a Saturday, so that's a little bit of a break. Pulling up to it right now. Well, the first garage we stopped at was of no use. They don't have anything to work on Toyota, and they're about to close anyways because it's Saturday. We're gonna go to an O'Reilly's and scan it to see if it's a spark plug, a fuel injector, or what it is. And then there's, according to this guy, there is an auto shop on the other side of town that is open. And we're gonna head over there. We're gonna try and check out what it is first at O'Reilly's. It's right along the way, so stay tuned. We'll see if we make it to Kansas. So we had it scanned, and it's cylinder number 5. So we're gonna try changing the spark plug, seeing if that does it. What's interesting is when I turned the truck off and back on, it started working again. Came all the way here, just popping and hardly driving, and then when I shut her down at the car lot and turned it back on, it started working just fine. And the light. Working?
Yeah, I think so.
Day 1 of the Kansas hunt.
Yeah.
Here we are doing auto mechanics.
This is typical.
This is how it goes, yeah. Every trip you pray that you don't forget something or don't break something,
Right.
and this happens.
My wife always wants me to do rental cars in case something like this happens. But the last time I rented one, it was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
All right, so we changed the spark plug. We couldn't change the coil pack because they didn't have one. But the truck is still making some weird beeping noise, but it's running okay now. But that beeping noise started when the problem started, so I don't know. I mean, I'm worried it could be a lifter or something. We're gonna stop at another garage that's still open. It's Saturday, it's hard to find anything that's open. And we're gonna have them just take a glance at it and see if they can tell me something, because I really don't want to drive this down into the middle of nowhere and have it break down. However, we kind of are in the middle of nowhere now. But at least we're in a town. We actually asked about a rental vehicle, and they said they don't have any in the whole town. That's how small this area is. So, can you hear the ticking noise? So this dealership here thought it's probably a vacuum leak. We're gonna try and nurse it to a Toyota dealer and see if Toyota knows what it is. Didn't get very far. The same thing happened. Engine light came on, I lost power. Went to the side of the road. We're gonna try and make it to the Toyota dealership. See what happens. I'm hoping that cooling it down again, I can restart it and it clears. It didn't restart just turning it off, turning it back on. And a light came on over here that said track off. So the traction went off. Looking up things on Google, it says that the traction goes off if there's something wrong with your engine. It don't help a whole lot. Maybe we just gotta replace that pack that we didn't replace when we replaced the spark plug, but it almost seems like there's some sort of vacuum leak right back here, right in front of the steering wheel. And that's what the last technician that looked at it thought. So guess we will find out I notice when I hold the hoses that are back there, they're red hot, but it doesn't show me having any kind of heat issues that I've got. There we go, popped out again, losing power. So the engine light started flashing again. Yep. Ah, crap. Trying to make it to the Toyota dealer. Pretty much floored right now. Toyota dealer's still about 45 miles away. Doesn't get any better than this. Yeah, still having a lot of issues. I got 20 more miles to Des Moines, and there's a Toyota dealership there that we called, and they have technicians on staff on Saturday today. So we're trying to make it there with enough time for them to look at this today yet. It just keeps, like, something pops, and it seems like electronic, and then I lose all power. I can drive like 20 or 30 miles an hour after that happens. But if I shut the truck off, put it in neutral, shut it off, put it back in gear, I got power again. Seems like it blows out when I'm going uphill, and there's that buzzing noise and that ticking noise or whatever coming from behind the engine, right where there's some O2 sensors. And one of the problems the tech said it could be an O2 sensor going on, and he described the problems that would happen from that, and it's exactly what's happening. What a start to the trip, huh? It just blew out again. See the light flashing? Every time I lose power, that light starts flashing. The engine light and the track off comes on. And I just throw her in neutral, turn the engine off, start her back up, and then throw her in gear. Oh, went right back out again. Uh-oh. Making room in John's truck, and we're gonna go try and rent the truck. Apparently they're gonna have to keep the truck here for a while. What do you think, John?
Oh, we'll make her work. We'll get there.
John's always got a positive attitude.
We'll get her done.
Mine's slipping away. When I called Toyota and asked for the service department, the lady who answered the phone, I explained to her that I was over 50 miles away, the engine problems I was having, and she said, "Oh, we've got 4 techs on staff. Come on down. They'll be glad to look at your vehicle." I said, how late are they going to be there? It's going to take me an hour to get there. She said, they'll be here till 4. So we nursed that thing all the way to the Toyota dealer. Went into the bay in the back that was open. There wasn't a car in there being worked on. And there was 4 techs, like she said, sitting around doing nothing, drinking coffee. So we pull up to them, and they all look like they're about 20 years old. One of them looked like maybe 30. Well, the maybe 30-something guy comes over as I'm getting out of the vehicle, and he says, "What's going on?" So I start explaining the engine issues, and he goes, "Whoa, you got an appointment?" I said, yeah, I called down here. I got the lady at the desk, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, "That's not an appointment. You got to make an appointment. We got work through next week. My guys are busy." And I said, listen, I'm on the road. I'm 350 miles from home. Give a guy a break. Can you just look at it? Maybe you've seen this before. I think maybe it's just a vacuum leak. And he goes, 2 problems. Number 1, I'm not certified to look at your vehicle. Number 2, my certified techs are all busy right now. I look over there, all drinking coffee, sitting at a table. And I says, you can't just ask one of them to just look at it quick? Just take a glance? Maybe he's seen this issue before? And he says, nah, we're almost done working. I says, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The service lady said you get off at 4. He goes, that's almost the end of the day. So I said, well, what can we do here? Because my hands are tied, right? So I'm like, what can we do here? So he says, well, I could put it on the schedule, look at it mid next week. I said, is there any way I could get you to look at it sooner? And he says, okay, I can have somebody look at it Monday or Tuesday. He says, Eon, can you look at it Monday or Tuesday? Eon's like, yeah. Wherever Eon is, right? So,
Hey, Dan.
yeah,
What you doing?
I'm moving.
Moving? Where are you moving to?
I'm moving to Nissan.
Oh, you don't like Toyota anymore?
I can't even get my truck fixed.
You might have to edit that out.
People.
I think he's gonna hunt over here, right behind the
See,
Toyota
honey,
dealer.
right there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. There's a scrape there on that fire hydrant.
The least they could do is if I'm going to have truck problems, they could just transfer to Kansas take to an Iowa take. That'd be a good.
Hey,
You know,
yeah,
just-
that's an idea.
I'm in a rented Nissan. It's a brand new car, 1,000 miles on it. Couldn't even figure out how to start it. It doesn't take a key. You press a button. Guess I'm getting old. I don't know how this new stuff works. But eventually I figured it out. I pressed enough stuff and it started. Headed to Kansas, a whole lot broker, but I'm headed to Kansas. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? Let's go get them. So we made it in what, the 10-hour trip in like 14 hours?
14 hours.
Yeah, quite the ordeal.
A
So-
little bit of trouble.
So today we're staying at the Citizens State Bank. This is our little room in here.
There's the money room.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna stick John, is in the vault here. He's gonna sleep in there, right, John?
Yeah. Nobody will steal my stuff.
I'm gonna study this so I know how to break into banks from now on. Nice overcast day with an east wind. It's been raining the last couple days, so it's pretty muddy back here, but we're gonna go scout this weehaw back here, me and John here, and see if we can find some action. This spot was a pretty good spot last time I was down here, but I never really got to the good area. There's a river system that comes through here. I sat right down there last time I was here. Yeah, and I had some bucks and stuff come through, but most of the action was on the other side of the river. And I was gonna move over, but then Ricky wanted to hunt there, and Ricky went over there. He saw a bunch of bucks and stuff, but I don't think he got in far enough. And then I wanted to make one more move in there, and then some guy showed up and kind of took the spot over. Doesn't look like anybody's been back here yet. There's no muddy boot prints or anything. Didn't look like anybody had parked on the grass over there. So there's a lot of fresh tracks though. Yeah, these are real fresh from this morning probably. Probably a young buck out cruising. Oh, there's a fresh rub, see it?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, the tree's pretty ripped up. Could be a little guy though. Small tree. Oh, there's a big track. Holy cow, look at that. God. This is as big as my hand. Look how round the toes are.
Yeah.
That's the one you want, John. That was a real big track. Yeah, that's pretty ripped up. Oh, it is really low. I think you're right. But it's pretty fresh. Look at this branch is broken right off on there.
Yeah.
That's this branch here, and that ain't easy to break.
No.
Here's a scrape right here. They haven't used it since it rained though, because it poured out here, but oh, here's a fresh footprint in it. He just didn't work it that much. You see the fresh, where they were nipping and,
It's got a fresh.
oh, here's a fresh one, yeah, yeah.
That's been ripped up since the rain.
Yep, that's a good sign.
Looks like over there too.
That track's pretty good, right there.
Looks like another one right there.
Yeah. Nice. Here they worked this too. See this branch here? Doesn't really look like a scrape, but you see where he was putting his feet together when he pissed?
Yeah.
Look at the size of those prints. That's a big buck. Yeah. There's a good one working this area. There's another scrape here, but it's still washed out. Yeah, I would be willing to bet a lot of them are coming right from that corner. That's where I ended up hunting last time I hunted in here.
Yeah.
And I could have shot some bucks. It was a pretty good spot. Yeah, we'll check on the other side, and then we'll loop around and check this and try to do as little damage as possible, but see what's going on.
Here's a nice track here coming right down the road. It's heading right north. Got into the mud over there.
Oh, that is a big track. And if you look, this is real fresh. The grass has still got the impacts. That's from this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. That's a big track. That's that big one from back there. Here, he kind of skidded, so he must be chasing. See, that's so he's kind of trotting. Yeah, he's running, look.
Yeah,
So he's probably chasing a doe.
Still four big tracks right here.
Yeah, look at that. Holy cow. That's a good one. That's the one we were looking for, John.
I hope to see him tonight. Another big track coming right into this corner over here. So
Yeah.
really good sized track. I mean, look at you can put your whole hand in there.
It is. You know what I see too? You look at this, you can tell. See how they aren't even attached? There's no moisture under it. That happened this morning.
It's fresh.
That happened not long before we got here. Remember, we were here this morning. We, see our cars up there. We didn't want to walk in here that early and scout because of this. There's deer running around. Matter of fact, it was only what half an hour ago we saw one cruise across the road.
Yeah, we just came in here. We saw this field, all cut corn. Beans over there, some cut beans. Looks real good. We saw a lot of big tracks coming in here.
Yeah, I think they're coming up this canal this way. Down in here, on the map, there's an oxbow, and that is kind of remote for anybody to get to. And I bet you they're bedding in there and coming up this way. They're coming into the corner of that beans, and they're coming up this corn. And I think if we can get to where they're all coming before they split this way and that way is your best bet.
Yeah, I think so. We're gonna go down there and take a look. And see what's up.
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of them are coming out right here. See the trail here coming out? And there's a bunch of rubs marking this trail crossing here, because there's a heavy trail here, heavy trail there. And there's a rub there, historical there, a couple rubs here. This one looks pretty good, nice and high. I don't know, John, I'm getting pretty excited about the spot myself.
Not too late.
John has dibs on this spot.
Thinking that a good spot would be just around this bend, just into the woods there.
Where it narrows down?
Yeah, it narrows down there.
Yeah, that's about perfect. You don't want to get too much further to the oxbows right there.
Yeah.
But right in here, yeah.
Try right up here.
That would probably be good because that other finger onto private goes that way, and everything would meet right there. Okay.
All right, let's go check it out. Look at putting a stand in this tree here is pretty straight. Pretty good tree for a lockout stand.
Yeah, looking at the map, it looks like there's a bedding finger over there too, and another one over here, which I like your pick. The wind just cuts it right in the middle. I mean, no matter what you have for wind, it's gonna be a little problematic, but that's about the best you can get.
So we're gonna grab a stand.
Okay.
Hopefully we see something this afternoon. If not, we'll come back here and try it again.
Yeah, I think the spot's worthy of a few sits.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. Wind coming right here. It's kind of coming on the east side. That's this direction, so should be perfect setup for it.
Yeah, and I don't think we're gonna get too many northeast winds, so
No.
take advantage of it while we can, because it'd really easily be blowing right into the bedding or right where the deer are coming from.
Yeah.
This wind is perfect.
Yeah, this will be good.
Okay.
This is the first afternoon out in Kansas, 2025. We've got a great stand picked out here. We're right next to the edge of a cornfield, freshly cut. We've got a tree line here that we're set up in. I think the bucks are going to be coming from this area over here, coming down this tree line. Basically looking for does, coming right through this. This tree line follows a little creek here that goes through this area. Real nice setup. Hopefully we get into something this afternoon.
John set up, John's buddies set up, and then there was just me. So it's already into the afternoon. I want to get on stand. I got a good win for a spot I remember from last time. I'm hoping there's still action in there. I'm hoping nobody's been hunting in there. And we haven't seen no sign of hunters pretty much anywhere. With the luck I've been having, there was some sign of somebody hunting it later in the year, like in rut. This isn't really rut down here. This is last week of October. Generally, people look at rut as the first 2 weeks of November down here. And that's when they plan their vacations and stuff to hunt around here. We're trying to beat the crowds. And driving around today, I didn't see one freaking car in any of the public spots. Not one on a Sunday. That's good. But if you're willing to bet, people start rolling in here next weekend. So I got a short window here to get it done. This draw in here is what I'm hunting. Last time I was in here, there was a whole bunch of deer bedded in this point, and back in here, and over in there, and up in that draw over there. And I went and sat in the middle. I had deer running all around me, but I spooked it out pretty good. So my idea now is to hunt at the top of that draw, and then the top of these draws, where the stuff comes in and out. Because everything seemed to get that far. And at least give it a start and plant that, because I don't want to booger this up this time. We have a wind blowing like this, and it'd be perfect to give that a try. Because normally the wind blows like this, which would be horrible. But right now we got a nice kind of straight east, northeast wind that would, I think the bucks are going to come out and go over to that private land up there that's got a whole bunch of food plots and stuff, and back down into here. And they're going to come up and out of this draw. So those are the two spots I want to hunt. And today I'm going to start over here. I'm bringing my binoculars along. I can see a lot of this, see a lot of that, see what I see, and maybe give that a shot tomorrow or something. Like I went back in there, and they let cattle into where I was hunting, and there ain't no deer sign there at all. The runs that I was hunting last year that had all the big bucks are dead. There ain't cattle right in the bedding area, but they're all around it, and the bucks and the deer, period, aren't even going in there. So I raced out to a spot I knew over here, which was a half an hour away. By the time I got over there, it was, 2:30ish, right? I get over there, and there's equipment out there cutting the corn. And the wind's a little funky. And I didn't want to just walk past these guys cutting the corn and set up right next to them. And I didn't think I'd see anything. So on the way there, just before I got there, I turned the Onyx on. And I saw this property. It's do or die because I'm running out of time. But there's standing corn all around the backside. And I looked from the backside, from a highway over there. And there's a draw system in here. There's a split right over here. And it looks like anything that's bedding in there would come up to the corn. It's a real small spot. There's either deer in there or isn't. There might not be because of the size. But it certainly does not look like anybody has hunted this. There's no tracks where you'd park. There's no people sign back here. So if there's any deer sign at all, I'll probably end up setting up on it. If not, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. Probably glass this evening. But, I haven't seen a track or anything, but now we got this. That's a good sign. It's real fresh too. Yeah, it's wet. That's a good sign. That one's mangled too. Look at that. So maybe we got something going here. Yeah, look at that. Just trashed. I gotta figure out how to go in there. Looking from here, I would think you're gonna go up towards the corn, but look at the green fields over there. They might be coming out of this that way. They might be coming out of that this way. I don't know. I think maybe I'll just get right here where the draws come together and try to find a tree and come in straight nose to wind. So I spook us a little, and if they don't go through there and they go someplace else, I should see it. I have my binoculars along, so I'm just gonna move over a little bit. And I'm going to try and pick a tree down here quietly, because really there's a dirt road right there. The corn's over there. Just a real small spot. So if there's somebody in here, it'd be really easy to get busted. So I'm gonna get up to this grass line, then I'm gonna look down there and try to pick a tree that I can get into without too much setup, without too much noise. But that's the kind of crap I'd expect them to be bedded in, right in there. Right in that stuff, those fingers. Wind is right in my face. I just jumped one. He ran out over here. I don't know what he was, one big lone deer. He didn't run hard and he stopped over there. The wind's in my face, so he just heard something. I don't think he saw me through his cover, but he hopped up right in here. This is kind of where I wanted to get set up. They could be bedded in here anywhere though. He really wasn't spooked. He's like, I don't know, he didn't walk and he didn't run and he didn't really trot. He just kind of hopped a couple times, like looking around, like what the hell's going on? He's right over there someplace. I do got to get in there though to set up. There's a nice straight tree right there I can maybe get into. I don't know, 2 sticks up I could reach the stand if I was right underneath it. Maybe not quite. I'm 6 foot tall, so it's probably about 8 feet off the ground. 8.5, 9. I'm staying down into the cover. The wind's perfect. I got good shooting out in here. I didn't go over there, so I could hunt this again in the morning if I want to. Okay, this is the view from the tree. I came over the hill over this way, slid down here. I can see the bed right there where that buck jumped. He jumped two jumps in this trail right here, and then walked over here past that rub. I don't know if you can see that rub, but that's a nice rub. Right, there it is, right there. And then he walked over there, and then he didn't run no more. He just walked off that way. I don't know if he's still over there, if he went further. Don't know if he'll come back. I can't see as much as I thought I'd see from here. I was hoping to see the green field. I was hoping to see up by the cornfield. I got a pretty small window actually, but I got a good shooting lane at anything coming through here. Pretty viney. I mean, there's a few things I'm missing. I really can't hit them if they're right on the bean edge there. That's probably 40 yards. I can hit them anywhere in here, but that is a tangle for deer to walk through. I'm willing to bet though over by the rub there's better trails. It kind of looks like it, but I don't want to walk over there. Looks like the draw system continues down and there's a green field there, but I can't go more than like 50 or 60 yards that way and I hit the land border road. This is a really tight, small piece. See what happens. I don't have a lot of confidence, but it's better than not being in a tree. There's a buck up on the hill up there. Up where I saw those rubs. I can't see him real well, but he came running across the field. I just got a glimpse of him. He stopped up there. I grunted at him and he stopped. Let's see if I can get him to come down here. If he goes any further, he's going to get downwind. I can kind of make out part of his body through the grass, but I can't see him anymore. Not now he's gone. I'm gonna assume he was just a little guy if he's out running like through the open fields, but you never know. Came out of that stuff over here, and I didn't see him until he was like clearing the hill up here. So he came out of somewhere down here anyways. This property don't look like much either, a couple tree lines, but it butts up against a property that has a cornfield that's real small and strategically placed. Looks kind of like a food plot, and it looks like it's set up for deer coming off of this property. And this property is open to the public. So I'm just gonna come up here and take a look and see if there's some deer traveling that way and see what the sign looks like. And all I can keep doing is hitting these properties one after another until I get something I like. It's tough when the spots that I scouted last year got full of cattle and stuff this year. It really kind of limits you. There's a lot of territory out here. It's just a matter of really using my time efficiently and covering as much ground as possible to get onto these public deer. So maybe you can tell me, are there any deer back there? Should I keep going? You're not too talkative? What's the problem? I just want to know if there's some deer back there. That way? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, that way. Thanks, man. The good, the bad, and the ugly. There's cattle in here. But that cow was pointing me this way to go find deer. And when I get to this point, believe it or not, I find old dried up morel mushrooms. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And right here is standing corn. Cattle put a damper on it because I was expecting the deer to come out of them draws. But I'm hoping the cattle don't get into that next draw down, and over there is where the deer are. Nobody knows about this cornfield unless they walk back here because this is isolated. I could not see this from the road. I'm kind of hungry. Maybe I'll munch on some of those dried up cow manure mushrooms there. And then I'll go down here and look for some tracks. Oh, there's a tree stand. Look at that. In that tree on the private side. That fence is the line. He's hunting with the cows. It's probably a gun stand. Looks like a gun stand, don't it? If I can figure out how to get across this fence here. That's one of the good things is this whole area here. I've gone through 4 or 5 fences now. And your average guy ain't gonna get this far back. I'm noticing that most of these guys are hunting, stuff they can see from the road. They look at it and they can see a cornfield or something, and this one's kind of hidden. Oh, barbed wire to the crotch. Ouch. Made it through the fence alive. See what we get into here. Maybe I should go ask these cows for some more tips. That last cow gave me a good tip. Oh, there's a big track. Look at that. Oh, big track. I just want to add that this probably isn't the easiest route of going onto this property. I went a roundabout way to take the hard way in because this is the downwind property line. I don't want my scent blowing all through this crap. Get in here as stealthy as possible, even if it means walking further. I bet you the cows get cut off at the river, so that little river bottom might be the ticket, right in that draw system. If I don't get busted going down there. The sign is definitely picking up. The closer I get to that corner, the better. There's a feeder in that corner. I see the cows are fenced off with an electric fence to the feeder. And there's a tree stand right over the top of it, right up there. And man, is that messed up from deer eating there all the time. It's like being in a park. At least if somebody's that serious about hunting, he's probably managing for big bucks, which could be good. But it's interesting that there's all that sign in there. I don't see no sign here. All the sign here was up by the corn. I'm hoping they're going up and down this river. Crazy if he's going to put a feeder on that property, he puts it right up against the public where you can see it. Tells you that nobody ever comes back here. This ravine is going to be fun to cross. It's quite the drop down there. But now this is the bean field that I just came across. That feeder's right there. They got a fence on this side, really heavy, kind of funneling the deer to the other side of the river. So I'm hoping that area over there has some good travel. It'd be a good funnel. And I can see that whole side over there is standing corn. I can see bucks just easing around up here and bedding up in there, coming down here along the corn, maybe making their way to the feeder, maybe not. But I think the does are going to be hitting that feeder and the bucks are going to be looking for the does. I doubt mature bucks around here are that stupid. Maybe they are, I don't know. But I got to find a way across this ditch. Maybe this log right here, I can crawl across that. Hopefully I don't drop 50 feet to my death. But it looks like I can make it across that. Wish me luck. There's no sign at all on this funnel leading up to that feeder, which is surprising to me. But it's been one deep gully draw of a creek bed after another. I mean, it's a sheer drop on both sides. And I think the deer just aren't going to go through this one after another. So they're probably going in along the corn or wherever. So I'm hoping maybe the next draw up, which is the last one I can hunt, maybe that'll have better sign. If I can figure out a way to cross this. There's no tree going across here. Sign's picking up a little. Not a lot, but a little. That's our last bet, is that draw there. Well, I reached the end of the property, and the deer don't seem to have any reason to want to come over here. They're staying on the private over there by the corn and the feeders and not coming over here. The only place there was any sign of them was by the cornfield, and that wasn't a lot. Not even a scrape. One or two spindly rubs. A waste of a couple hours. Gotta get out of here and get on to the next property. We'll find something. At least coming out of here, I can take the farm tractor access back here and I don't have to walk across the damn canals. But I had to do that coming in order not to get my wind up here. Now that I know I'm not hunting it, I can just buzz out of here and on to the next property. I'm sweating like a pig, trying to hoof it. I know John and Greg wanted to catch lunch, but I think I'm better off if I just keep pounding this until I find deer. Oh God, look at that track. Wow. That's a big buck. Just look at the rounded toes. See that? How they're worn round. Look at the size of that. It's as big as my hand. He's got a real big stride too. God, that's a big track. Somebody else is looking too though. But there's nothing I can do if he's living over there. There ain't no sign of him over here. Oh, I see a feeder over there. I've been through like 5 properties already. The last one I almost got stuck because these roads are just horrible out here. The whole underbody of this rental is just coated with that clay. And as you can imagine, so is the inside. And that's, they rented me a brand new truck. It's absolutely brand new, right off the lot. Probably shouldn't advertise what's in your area. You look at this, there's a straight drop right here. It goes down about 100 feet. And you look at the field here where the deer are feeding. Look at this trail coming through here. See that? It literally comes right up this cliff. There's no way you could get up that. If I started going down that, I'd end up in the river really quick. I don't know how a deer does that. I have no clue. You see all the busted up soil from them coming up and down? There's even a rub right up here. It's amazing they're going through that. There's a good place for me to cross right here. Wonder how many years it took the deer to cut a hole like that, hey? It's like 5 feet deep at the highest spot. See if I can do this without dying. Camera's gonna have to get turned off, put in the pocket because I'm about to fall. Made it. Look at this stuff right here. It's so cool to come to these places and see all this history. You wonder how long it took the river to cut through the earth like this. Rained last night. I'm out this morning looking for a new spot, walking some weehaws. Not having too much luck. A couple of places I wanted to go to had trucks there, but I'm gonna keep after it. See what I can find. I'm sure eventually sometime today I'll get onto something. Some of this stuff is so hard to tell. I mean, it don't look like much, but there's woods over there, woods over here. There's a hunter about a mile down, but that's a mile. There's big buck tracks in that field. I didn't run into a ton, but I probably run into 5, 6 sets from last night going back and forth in the field. Down here you can't see tracks, but you got this. You got this rub here that's mangled all the way up to here to head height. One in the background there. This branch is busted off. Not sure if that was a deer, but it isn't a lot of sign. I know there's good bucks coming through here, but when? I mean, there isn't a lot of tracks or anything. It's just so hard to tell. This could be a hot spot or it could be a dud. Right in this corner, there's a lot of tracks coming together. I mean, I guess I'd be okay with giving this a try. There's some big tracks. And a lot of tracks right here. But I'm not real confident in this spot. I'm going to keep looking. But I don't think this is bad. It really is pretty tore up though, actually, for how hard the ground is. So maybe they're coming right out of here, down this draw. I can't go over to the draw, but I can hunt up in here. I could get them right when they come through here. And I'm surprised there's not scrapes under these bent over trees. But yeah, every place there's bare dirt here, there's tracks, and there's some good ones. Just a matter if it's daylight or not. You can see a bunch of running tracks too, like the bucks are harassing the does. But there's a lot of tracks right here. Feels like the wind's kind of going like that. So if I got over there, put it out over the neighboring field, deer would come through here. I don't think this is bad. It looks like they're coming in and out right here someplace. Could be wrong, could be down there, but at least you'd see it, right? But when you get down there, the sign seems all spread out. Right here it's concentrated, so I'm thinking that concentration just keeps going down into this draw. Yeah, I just really don't look bad. You know, you gotta remember too, most of these tracks are last night because it rained most of the night, and these are fresh. I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just a matter of if I can get into one of these trees. A lot of the trails come out right here. It'd be better to get over here a little bit. But these trees are crooked as can be. If the wind stayed good, a guy could get in here low. But it really ain't the best. I was thinking that tree looks really good, but there's a whole bunch of trails come right through there from that wood lot. So I wouldn't want to be on top of them. I want to be able to shoot all the way down there, which puts me right here someplace. I just have to figure out how to get to a tree. Par for course, you never have a perfect setup, right? Guy could just get on the ground at that point and just sit into this stuff and, right? Be nice to be high enough to see what's going on though with some binoculars. But these trees are crooked as can be. So there's faint trails that come in here from all over the place. This one's pretty heavy and that one's pretty heavy, and that's the best looking tree. But looking at it, you'd probably have a broadside over here, and you'd have a broadside in this one up there as you came around the corner. I think that's better than trying to get real low over here and being in line with them coming. There's a little cover up there a guy could hide in. So if I sit here, that's probably going to be the tree right there. I really don't see heavy trails going in there. Most of the heavy sign is out here. Like probably some does have been coming through here now. Some bucks have showed up. I don't know for sure if it's in daylight. Study the map a little bit and look at what's in here and how far it is. Seems like it's pretty close. Just see what's coming. And I'll keep moving. And if I find something better, I'll go someplace better. If not, I'll come back. This morning I ended up coming back here. It actually looked the best out of everything I looked at. But there's a lot of buck sign in here with tracks and stuff. No scrapes or anything, but a lot of tracks. Big buck tracks all over the place. And in this corner is the highest concentration. And we got a trail coming in like this. And some more coming down in here like this, coming out of that wood lot there. And that wood lot and that wood lot are pretty big. I don't know what would make them come this way. There's standing corn out there. Maybe they come over here looking for does or something. I don't know. Lots of doe tracks in the field too. There's a couple pretty good rubs down in there. Well, there was one scrape over there. It's not real tore up yet. But as you can see, there's some corn cobs still laying in the field to be eaten. So maybe that's part of what they're doing over here. If something does come in, I got a pretty good setup here. It's just a matter of they got to come in. The wind's blowing like that. And I expect all my movement to be over here or over here. So that's not problematic at all. There's a trail that goes through there and then comes around in front of me. But I would have a shot before it got downwind. I just spotted a buck crossing the field. I couldn't tell how big it was, but it just disappeared into those trees, like right there, but it wasn't running or anything, it was just walking. It was kind of actually angling towards me. I just saw one walking over there. I don't know where he is, but he's kind of walking up this ditch horizontal to me. I hear him. Here he comes. Seems pretty aggressive, don't he? There he is. Just a little guy. He's rubbing a tree. Oh, he's coming back over now. He's gonna get downwind of me. He's directly downwind right now. Oh, he's working a scrape. Oh my god. I don't know. I didn't get. Look at that. Holy crap. He is digging a hole.
was on his hind legs working the branch way up in the tree. Now he's just digging a hole. He is really worked up. No, he's on his hind legs again. He's making another scrape right next to the first one. The damn telephone pole's blocking it. I can't film it. Wow, that thing is worked up. When he walked through these bushes over here, he literally walked to every single tree and rubbed it. The only thing scary about that is for a guy that small to be that worked up and walk around free. One wouldn't think there's a big boy around. Yeah, he's making another scrape. He's making a whole row of them right there, right now. That's the third one in about 15 feet. Turned out to be a kind of small bug, eh? Gotta give a shout out to my buddy Rick Lobby for getting me his front call. That's what called him in. I saw him go across the field into his wood lot, and he's kind of quartering towards me. So I grunted a few times, and then nothing. And then all of a sudden I caught him sneaking around over here, coming in. And that's why he did all those rubs. He rubbed every little tree over here. He was like searching, going from tree to tree rubbing. He was coming up here, worked his way till he got downwind of me, smelled me, searched for me, couldn't find me. He was gonna come past. But then I think he didn't, because I squeaked my camera arm a little bit, trying to jerk it over to film him over here. But then he just walked away, and then when he got back over to where I first saw him, he worked 3 scrapes in a row. And I mean, he was throwing dirt like 10 feet. I know I couldn't get very good film of it from over here from where I'm at. There's just too much crap in the way, but I could see it. He would get up on his hind legs and work the branches up like 6 feet. Very cool display. And it's because I grunted to him. So hey, Rick Lobby, thanks for the call. Now let's see if he comes back. Watch how the milkweed lands right where that buck smelled me. Look at that. It was right there around that tree. It's right where the buck stopped and smelled me. I knew exactly where he'd smell me because of the milkweed I dropped before he came. There's 2 does feeding about 150 yards that way. Through some really thick cover, I can just barely see them. Need the binoculars to make them out. They're staring intently over here. Yeah, they sure are. They're locked on in this woods in here.
So no deer last night. I saw 1 little buck, 2 does. This morning we woke up to thunder showers, so we slept in. We're heading out now in the rain to go look at moving John's stand. Where John was sitting, he got down, came out last night. He saw a couple bucks from the stand, but they're off in the distance. I don't think he got any film. But when he got down and he was coming out, he ran into the buck that's been leaving those big tracks. Real big buck. He had it in his headlamp. He said it was close enough he could have shot it if it was legal. And he said it didn't really spook. It just hopped off and walked away and just went back to its meandering through the field looking for does. But it makes me think it's coming from the other direction. there's a draw above John, which could very easily be holding the buck. And all those tracks are coming from a buck being in there all the time, a big buck. So I think he's coming from above John. And at the same time, the wind switched, which makes John's spot bad, but the spot where I think that buck's coming from good. So we're gonna go in there, we're gonna look and see if there's any tracks up there. If they're not all washed out, try to find a spot to set up in that draw. I mean, really, they're pretty limited here where there could be bedding. It's all open, except for some draws. So if he's not down where John is, it's a pretty good likelihood he's coming from there. If not, he's coming from private across the street someplace. But considering that it was right after closing when John saw the buck, I would say that pretty good chance that's where he was bedded. So good time for a move. And then from there, I'm gonna go out and just hit some properties until I find something. If I don't find nothing, I'll end up back where I was yesterday. Don't like wasting time. I want to get in the woods, so I want to get John moved as fast as possible and then get out there looking. Days are kind of short when you want to sit, you know. You want to sit all afternoon, and you want to sit in the morning, and there really ain't a lot of time to scout. So, well, I got this rainy morning and I didn't get out. I need to get him situated and hit the woods. Hit it hard. What do you think, John? They're pretty smart here, huh?
Can't smell me.
Yeah, he was right downwind of you. I mean, he didn't care.
The thing came right downwind of me. Maybe over here it was what, 5 yards?
If that. You were standing right here. He walked right. You were standing right here where the grass is. You walked right here. That ain't 5 yards. That's 2 yards.
2 yards from me. I don't think it ever smelled me.
Didn't you have a cookie in your pocket to give it?
I was trying to.
Oh, he smelled you and he saw you. He didn't care.
He didn't care.
He didn't care at all.
Amazing, yeah.
He didn't know it was danger.
You didn't ever see anything like that?
I mean, he looked at me in the tree. He didn't care either.
Yeah.
Didn't even. He just glanced at me
The
and.
other buck was right there, looking at me up in the tree. There.
Just like Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There in Wisconsin, if you're 10 miles from here right now, it's still blowing.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
It was cool. Real cool.
Yeah, this is a good spot. We should probably just stay here.
All right, let's take it out.
We were worried about the wind blowing like this. This was predicted, but it's actually going like this. We're thinking these deer are going to follow this. Just rubs all through here and stuff.
They did come through here.
Yeah.
That one buck, he went in over there. He came around the back here. He came up right here.
Yeah.
So they're not going to smell me if they do that. Or if they're coming down this way, they're not going to smell me.
So tell me what happened last night when you came out of here.
Last night, you know, I got down. It was past shooting hours. Started to walk out. I saw first a little raccoon climb up a tree. That was pretty cool. But then 2 deer in the field, and I just had my headlamp on, and I could kind of see that it was a pretty tall buck. Nice one, wider than the ears. And he wasn't too spooky. You know, I just walked towards him, and he just sat there and then trotted off a little bit. So we think this is going to be a good area.
Yeah.
Continue to try this area. We just saw that little buck now. So
This is better than what I'm getting on
definitely
to.
seeing buck sign.
Yeah. I like this.
So we're going to give us another shot tonight. Wind isn't quite perfect, but
It ain't horrible either if they can come through here.
yeah, we think it'll be all right.
Yeah. There's actually on the map, it shows where that pocket is back there, there's a really good oxbow that's got some cover in it, and we think they're bedding in there.
Walking out here, we noticed this new scrape here. Pretty good sized scrape. We didn't see it earlier, so we think it's pretty new. It's been rained on. A few leaves dropped in it, but we're thinking it's new.
That wasn't here when we set up the stand. That rub too, you can see it's still bleeding. Yeah, that's fresh. That's probably the buck you saw yesterday. Did that. Probably did that right before you came over here.
Broke that branch too.
Yeah. So this is right where you saw that big buck yesterday.
He was just out in here.
Yeah.
Went up that way, so I don't know. Hard to tell where he is today. Hopefully he comes back.
Well, he's in the area.
And then right at last light, I heard a noise and looked back into the brush that was to my right. I saw the flag from a deer, you know, the tail. And I'm like, oh, let me get my binos out. And got the binos out, saw that it was a buck. I couldn't get a good view of its antlers. I could see they were pretty decent, but he was behind a lot of brush. And he was actually, seemed like he was going to be heading in the other direction. I got the grunt call out, gave 1 or 2 grunts, and he actually turned and started to come closer to me, but it was getting to be absolutely last light. I couldn't see him too good. Couldn't really see, it was hard to pick out spots where potential shooting alleys through the brush because it was kind of thick, but there was one spot where I remembered earlier when there was more light. It's like, if there's a deer in this spot, I can shoot. And he got to that spot, and I had the safety off, ready to shoot. And he just went through that spot too fast, and I just had to, you know, rear end of the deer. It was the only thing that was sticking out in my shooting alley, and it just wasn't a good shot, so had to pass on that one, unfortunately. I could see that he had a drop tine on the one on the right side, maybe a good 4-inch drop tine. I'm not sure if it was a, you know, mainframe 8 or 10 with that drop tine, but he was at least an 8. But it was just too hard, too dark, too much brush to totally tell what it was. So I had to let him walk. Hopefully he comes back tomorrow. It's been a good spot. I've been seeing deer every night, so I was actually contemplating moving, but I think I'll go back there tomorrow and see what we find. So,
Probably be a good spot for the morning.
Yeah.
Get him cruising back in there and
Maybe
more
we could,
daylight.
yeah. So we'll try that spot again tomorrow, see how we do. It's supposed to be, the weather's supposed to be a little windy tomorrow again. It's kind of a northwest wind. Not the best for that spot, but it didn't seem to hurt, you know, deer movement and some deer that I saw tonight. So
I saw 6 point, I think. It had so much twine in its antlers, it was pretty hard to get a count. and I saw 2 doe, so I went in there and I was scouting when I saw those 3. Found a rub along the creek, and I set up on that draw, knowing that there was going to be strong winds today. Then we went out and scouted, found some really good spots with some corn, marked those on Onyx, and came back and I set that spot, and maybe 2 hours before dark, that 6-pointer with a mop in his head came through again, and then he was behind a doe. They wandered off, and I didn't see anything after that. But I pulled my sticks out, and I'm going to go try a different spot tomorrow.
I've been walking a ton of properties. Really nothing to film. I haven't been finding much of anything. Still out searching for properties, and I found this one here. It's small and narrow, but there's standing corn over here, standing corn back there, and a standing cornfield back there. It's tree lines, but they get a little thick. They could be holding some bucks. I do see cattle on the other end, but there's a tree line going out that way too. The wind's blowing that way, so I gotta get to the back side of the property, which I have to come from this way. So I'm just gonna straight line it right through the corn, get to the back side, so I'm not scenting everything up. It rained pretty heavy, so the tracks are kind of washed out, but there's a lot of deer tracks in here. Oh yeah, here's a little scrape. Look at that. So, I don't know if I want to look down here or on the other side. I gotta get one side or another on this ravine. The way the wind's blowing, I think I want to try the other side. Oh look, there's a heavy trail going down this too. Look at all these tracks. Oh yeah, there's deer coming through here like crazy. Wow. This is just beat. I think maybe I found my spot. This is the biggest hunk of timber out here. I want to do as little damage as possible, so I'm going to try and make my way to this corner. Maybe blow my scent down. There's another scrape right here. I mean, this stuff's all washed out. You can hardly see the tracks because it poured last night. There was thunderstorms. But I think I'm in them. There's another scrape right here. Yeah. Oh, I see a big rub up here. Right there. That's a pretty big rub. Look at that. Big tracks there. That's pretty fresh. Look at it mangled that branch on there. I'm thinking this corner of this field would blow my wind out into nowhere land. There ain't nothing over there but grass. The next draw is over there, so I can hunt this without affecting that. That deep ravine really funnels them over here too. They have to come around this way. They could go through the corn, but they got a nice, pretty nice path right here. Here's the corner. Here's a scrape right here. So this is what I got. I got my safety harness on. I got a tree stand with a jacket, a camera arm, 5 sticks, and a bow. No backpack, no lunch, no water. Just going in there for 4 or 5 hours. I don't need all that crap. This is not a picnic. It's deer hunting. I sat up at the truck and I ate Mountain House freeze-dried food. I had some mac and cheese, and I had some blueberry and oats cereal thing. And I'll tell you what, it was less than perfect. Crunchy macaroni, crunchy blueberries. I thought it was important to get on to something, and I think I'm onto it. I'm excited about this spot. Hopefully we get to see some decent bucks, whether we see one to shoot or not. It's just nice to see deer. You can see I'm getting here perfect timing. There was cattle in here not too long ago. And there's still cattle tracks all over the place, but even the cattle trails are full of deer tracks. So this deer came right back in here after the cattle left. They probably were working between the cattle through the corn, but I think there'd be less deer in here if the cattle were in here. Little tiny cornfields, 1, 2, and there's another one back there. Trail comes around that bend.
And on the other side of that bend is a little opening and a tractor path that gives a crossing point for this river, where otherwise it's a sheer drop off. And it connects those two cornfields, 2 fingers, and what looks like bedding cover. And I just feel like I'm hunting one trail too far back. Cross your fingers that there's a tree over there that'll work. And I'm gonna try and get right in that opening that connects the 2 fields based on what I saw on Onyx. I know how important it is to get it done right the first time. Like if I'm sitting here and they come out into the corn, and then I get down, I leave, they run out of here, try killing them then. First sits are important. I need to make sure it's right. I'm just gonna roll the dice and I'm gonna move, even though this was a great setup. Here we go. Trail's definitely going this way. This isn't a scrape. You can hardly see the tracks because of the downpour last night and this morning. But you can, if you look close, you can see a heavy trail right through here. And here's another scrape right here. I say they're still coming from here. Here's that opening. It's going to be right up here. I mean, I don't know if you make that out, but that's just pummeled with tracks. They're just washed out. There's another little scrape right here. Okay. And this is where I think a lot of those deer might be going into the corn and crossing over and stuff. Man, there's a lot of acorns on the ground here too. All right, yeah, here's the trail going in right here. There's a big scrape right there. There's corn on the ground. Yeah, you can see a lot of them are going into the corn. So I would have been splitting the trails. Trouble is now, where do I get in a tree? I don't want to go any further than that. Try and get in here someplace. Man, these trees are way too big to climb. I could get on the ground here, right here, but actually they'd be, according to that trail, they'd be right on the other side of that log. So maybe if I can get up this tree here, I can shoot over. It's the only tree around, if you look. And I can get way back there. But with the wind blowing like this, you know, behind me here to the river, yeah, this is definitely where I need to be. I can see a trail coming out of that corn coming down the hill real heavy too. So I think they'll come along the corn, they'll come through here, and then they'll split up here. Some of them go into the corn, some of them will come over by that other spot. But right here I'll cover everything. I'm not going to be able to get very high, but I don't think I need to. The wind is blowing over that cow pasture. You can see it bright green, that's the cow pasture. Deer don't like cows, they're probably not going to go in there. They're probably going to come in over here. There's a river crossing over here. The trails come in from over here. And 1 stick, 2 stick, and then I'm right there, about 8 feet off the ground, just a couple feet over the obstacles here, where I stay down in the cover a little bit. I probably could have made a ground set up here, but I wanted to use my camera arm and it would have been problematic. Now I got a nice seat and I can see well. I don't have to be up a mile, just up high enough to shoot over this crap. Heavy trail coming out there. Heavy trails coming out right here, going right in front of this log, right through there. I was looking in that field with my binoculars. I don't think that's corn, I think it's milo or something. It's really thick and nasty and mixed with heavy grasses. So they're probably got to make their way out here to feed, which is a good thing. As one would expect, there's a scrape right here marking that corner. This could be interesting. We'll see what happens. Wind is getting out of hand. It's really, really whipping. It's getting to be like 20 or 30 mile an hour gusts. I'm starting to understand why they call those wee-haws. You hold on to the tree and you go wee-haw as the wind blows. And you're blown right out of here. Way over on the horizon, I just saw a deer run through that brighter grass spot and into those trees. got in here, as soon as I got set up, I saw a little buck come in. And he came right up underneath me. Little four corner was too dark to film. The camera wouldn't pick up any light. Came to about 6-7 yards. Looking in here intently, so I think he heard me set up. Probably heard me come through the corn. Was investigating. It wasn't spooked. Where he came from. But there's something bigger than that out here. Walked right through the corn and came to where I could shoot, and then walked around and came into here. And the fork horn came from over here, came up here, was looking over this log, walked up to here, smelled where I walked, stared in here, walked back over here, walked around here, tried to get downwind of me, but couldn't quite get far enough to get downwind of me because I got the river to my back. Then just meandered back up and where he came from. But it's kind of imperative you know, pop out where you can shoot, because I mean, if you remember what happened with that doe yesterday, it hit my scent and just exploded. If that would have been a buck, there's no shot after it smelled me. So I'm trying to keep an eye back here where I can see that trail coming. Keep an eye up here where I can see if they pop out. Keep an eye up there where they pop out. So my head's kind of on a swivel. There were a lot of tracks up in the grass up there too, so I just keep looking. Hopefully something moves through here this morning. Once he hit my scent, he was searching for me, but he would have probably just cruised through if he didn't see me, but I'm such an obvious spot. There's no trees to get in here. All the trees are just dinosaurs. They're all bigger on as my car hood. This is the only tree I could get into. Not too camouflaged, but I think he wouldn't have saw me except for the scent, because he smelled me. Not that he was a shooter anyways, but...
Really windy, kind of brutal out there. Got into my stand after about, maybe 45 minutes. I see this buck cruising down the other side of the cut cornfield that I was sitting on the edge. I was kind of on the, I guess it would be the west end, and on the other end, the east end, there's a buck cruising down. He kind of had his head to the ground. It looked like he was trailing a doe, maybe looking for a doe. Got the scent of a doe, I'm not sure. And then he goes, from my right to the left, and then he turns around and he goes back and he disappears into what we're calling the oxbow, which is a little bow in the creek there. And I can't see that part, but I figure, okay, maybe he's going to come through the woods by me. And sure enough, about half an hour later, 2 bucks come by, kind of behind me. I could see that they were, 8 pointers, maybe 10, I'm not sure on the first one. I didn't get a real good look at that one. And then he crossed, went down into the creek and crossed and disappeared, so I didn't get a real good look at that one. The other one came out. He was underneath me at about 20 yards. Could have shot, but just not big enough. But a nice you know, pretty 8, maybe 100 inches. So I let him go. I think it's a little fork.
Looks like just your size, John.
Yeah, that's a guy that keeps hanging around my stand.
That's an awfully small body on that thing, eh?
Yeah. He's not even spooky of us here.
I wonder if that's the same one, because he's not spooked at all.
No. He's not too far from where I was hunting.
No, we saw him run this way too, if you remember.
Yeah.
When we left, he was down here walking around.
Probably.
Yeah, he's not even scared.
Oh. Weird thing. I don't know what what is he eating on the side there?
Just grass.
Oh, grass that he would
Yeah.
look?
They eat everything.
Yeah. He could care less over here.
You know, you get up in this hilly high ground and cattle pastures and stuff, and leather boots seem like a good choice, but then you end into crap like this, and you have to go way out of your way to cross one of these ravines and not get your leather boots wet where the Arxis that lasts me for years. I can walk right through this crap and it'll wipe right off when I hit the grass, you know. Where if I was wearing leather boots, I'd be trying to find a way through there. I'm gonna sneak down this dry riverbed because it goes right underneath my stand, and then slide to my stand without getting my ground scent up there by the corn. These deer have really been reacting hard to the ground scent in this particular location. I was putting on my camera arm and I turn around, there's an 8-pointer standing like 10 feet from me. I slipped my camera out of my pocket to film it, and the bow's still on the ground. He's not a shooter anyways, but he's right down here someplace. He didn't go very far. Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's gonna cross over here, I think. I gotta get my bow up here. They're moving. Where is he there? He's down in the ditch. He's actually acting like he might go behind me. Probably trying to smell me because he was head bobbing me right here. He's right behind that bush, head bobbing me. I think he was working the scrape. There's a scrape there. I have no idea how long he was there. I was working on my camera arm. It's hard to concentrate on hunting. Toyota got a hold of me. They said they can't figure out what's wrong with the truck. On Monday, I get an email from Toyota. It says, "Thank you for choosing Toyota Service Center. Eon has been assigned your tech. Eon will look at and evaluate your vehicle on Friday." If you remember, he said he would look at it on Monday. Now John's got to be home Sunday, so we only have till Saturday. So I call Toyota. So I says, "Eon, blah blah blah, I got this email and you said blah blah blah." And he goes, "I told you Monday or Tuesday." I go, "Yeah, I understand that, but I got this email that's saying you're not working on it till Friday." And he said, "I told you Monday or Tuesday. Is there a problem with that?" I'm like, no problem. Just wanted to make sure because I got this email. So that's how we started off, right? The next day, Tuesday, Eon calls me. Now he's in a better mood. And he says, Mr. Infalt, glad to tell you we got your truck fixed. I go, you do? I scanned your engine, and you've got a cylinder 5 misfire. He says, so first thing you do is you change the spark plugs. He says, so I took out the coil pack, took out the spark plug, and there's a new spark plug in there. He says, and it's not the right spark plug for your truck. He says, so put the right one in there and your truck's running fine. So I'm like, okay. I says, two things, Eon. Number one, I went to O'Reilly's and changed that spark plug, and I looked that spark plug up, and it's the exact spark plug. I wouldn't even take the equivalent one, the exact one that the book Toyota has at O'Reilly's says to use for that vehicle. And he goes, yeah, it probably does. He goes, but it's not the one I would recommend. I said, okay, so you're saying that the one that the Toyota book recommends doesn't work? That I can't put it in there and my truck won't work okay? And he goes, listen, your truck's working great. I says, well, number two, did you drive the truck around a little bit, because it blows out every like 2 to 5 miles? And he goes, blows out? What are you talking about? I said, did you read the service report? He goes, what service report? They just told me the engine light was flashing. So I checked the engine light, I scanned it. He goes, now your vehicle's fixed and it's running great. I said, well, it blows out every 2 to 5 miles. I said, I doubt if things fixed by doing the same thing I did. And granted, now he's charged me an hour and a half, so that's $300 already. To do what I did without reading the service report. He says, just out of the blue, oh, by the way, you've also got a vacuum leak. There's something ticking into your engine. We couldn't find it. Don't think it's related. I'm like, that started when the problem started. He goes, well, that would be good to know. I go, well, read the service report. You know, I'm paying you $200 an hour to do this. So he just says, well, I'm going to tell you what. The truck is running great. I think you should drive it home. I said, that's 350 miles home. You want me to just get in this thing and drive it when you haven't done anything to it? And he says, listen, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's wrong with your truck. I don't know how to fix that. He goes, what do you want me to do? You want me to rebuild your engine? $200 an hour. You want me to just start ripping stuff apart? So at that point, I just said, Eon, just park it outside, and I'll come over Saturday and pay up the bill, and I'll figure something else out.
I talked to a couple different garages I called, and they all said that the noise I'm hearing under the hood is probably a vacuum leak. And if I fix that vacuum leak, it'll probably fix the problem. Tell Toyota that, they're like, yeah, we can't find it. We can hear it, but we can't find it. Searched online, I found somebody with the exact same problem, exact same scenario. Only 2 years difference in the truck and the make. Exactly what was happening to me is what he wrote. He said he took it to Toyota, they changed the spark plugs, and they changed coil packs, and charged him $600, and it's doing the same thing. Didn't say how he resolved it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm thinking about renting a U-Haul dolly and just towing the damn thing back on the back of John's truck. Or the other option is just to never go back to Toyota, never go home, and just stay here and hunt forever. I don't know what I'm going to do if a big buck walks me. I'm driving a rented brand new Nissan. Who the hell rents a guy hunting on muddy roads and swamps and crap on a brand new vehicle, never used?
nothing pulled together until late. I mean, sun was already going down, shadows were getting pretty long. I was up pretty high in a saddle and saw a doe standing in the corn, watched her go through, and then saw one off to my left in a field that was probably 30 or 40 yards away. And then she disappeared on me. I thought she was going to come right through. And then saw another doe, put the binos on her. It was getting late. There was actually 2 doe there. And then they took off, a little spooked, make me think something was on their track. And then a few minutes later, big deer standing there, put the binos on it, and it was like, oh yeah, that's a shooter. It was probably a 140 class deer. And I got ready to shoot, then it kind of went into the corn and just couldn't make out the silhouette decently. About 35 yard shot and let him go. Didn't want to wound it. Went back to the same spot, sat in a different tree and give me a little bit better of an angle on the fading sunlight, and nothing showed. I had one deer downwind of me that blew me off, and that was it.
All right, the farm's right here. There's an access in here to this little old pasture. And it's a real small area right up against open fields. And it's kind of like the backyard of the farm. It's just over the hill there. And I don't think anybody really ever goes in here. It's really tiny. And even the border lines are really shortened up here. So looking at this, John is just over there. The spot where he's sitting. That oxbow, all the bucks are coming in and out of is right over here. Right over that hill. There's an intersection of trails down here, you know, or tree lines that come together down here that still connect to where those bucks are coming from. And I think if anything's trying to get around the pressure over by John, which them bucks are still out there, you can see it, that they're working all that shit. They could be coming through here. This intersection here could be good. So I'm going to try this. It's kind of a long shot because it's kind of open and right behind the farm, but I don't know, something just gives me a feeling that this is an overlooked spot. We'll go check her out. I can see a couple fresh rubs over in that corner. This is the farm access road, and that's the Union. They got that tree line there. Everything kind of comes together here, and I can just see the oxbow. I don't really want to walk around too much. I just kind of want to get in here. And well, there's a lot of deer tracks on here. It's kind of pummeled in, but a lot of deer tracks. Yeah. The ground's real hard, but you certainly see a lot of deer tracks. Oh, I can see a good trail going through down there too. I think I'm going to try and set up right in here. The oxbow's right there. You can even see the corn John's hunting right there. And all those deer come out right there, which is not very far from me. Oh, there's a heavy trail going in right here too. It's gonna go right underneath the tree, but I should be able to shoot them under that green down there if they meander around it all. But yeah, there's a good trail down there, good trail right here, and this trail's just pounded. You see clumps of mud that was coming off their hooves. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. So from up there, I should be able to hit that intersection. I should be able to hit some of this stuff down here. This doesn't look too bad. Let me see if I can find a spot in that tree. And that trail goes right underneath it. I think they're wandering in here everywhere. But yeah, might have to clear some of these dead branches to get a shot through here, but it don't look too bad. It's the only tree I could get in. I mean, look, that tree's too big. That tree's just dead and has bushes in front of it. This one's in the right position. It's a crap tree. I can only get so high, but it's already at an elevation up this hill. I get on the side of it. Maybe I could get a shot through there, shot through there, shot over there. All right, that intersection is right over here that I was looking at, where everything kind of comes together. There really isn't any good setups. And I kind of know all the deer are coming from down here. They're either coming in and out of here, like up that tree line, you know, up this tree line on this side of the river. And they're living in that oxbow. So if they're cruising for does and stuff, you're looking for the does that are in that oxbow. And there's been bucks staying in that oxbow. And John is right over there where that You see them, that corn? That's where John is, right there. I mean, if there was no trees here, we'd be able to see him sitting there. And that's where he's having all that action. And this is the oxbow. So I've really crept in very close. It really seems like a bizarre spot. Like either I'm going to see nothing, but I could see a monster. And there are monster tracks all over in here. So that's it. And you were next to a bedding area, so I mean, it looks goofy. It's definitely a fat chick spot. We're pretty much 150 yards from the road, surrounded by open fields, in a crazy tree. When you're hunting 25 yards from a junk car, you know you're in the fat girl spot. The farm is about 100 yards right behind me. That's the oxbow over there. Should be a good spot because bucks always run in front of cars. They always do. Runs in front of that car. He'll get a surprise hit from behind. I mean, if you just straighten out those windows, I could have sat in there. That could have been a blind, ground blind car. You can see why they're bedding in there. I mean, there's tangles of grass and stuff down there I can see. There's draw systems inside of there. That oxbow's pretty intense. The way those tracks go through there like that, it looks like where that swell is where they come up out of the river. And then this one, there's a little swell right there. That one's a little problematic, but it doesn't have as much traffic on it, but it does have one fresh set. But that one has a lot more traffic. I wouldn't doubt it if they're coming up that ditch too, but I'm not going over there to find out. But that's a nice, easy spot for them to get up. And then they could probably run up right here, run up through here, whatever they're doing. The junk is kind of blocking them over there. They could go up the other side too. I can't see any trails from here, but you never know. Back here.
I was back here this morning and saw 8-point and a fork. Then we went and had some lunch and we're coming back to move my stand, and we're just walking by. Saw this fresh scrape was tendered by a buck.
That's got fresh pea in it. It's still wet.
Yeah.
You should have stayed a little longer.
I guess.
This is where that real big buck was too.
Yeah, it was just in this area.
Yeah.
We broke that branch. You could see.
Yep.
Came out to my stand. It's right here in this tree right at the edge of the field. You can see the sticks on the side. So we're gonna pull the stand now, and I'm thinking I'm seeing a lot of deer crossing over here.
Down in there.
Going into the woods right there. So
It almost looks like they could be dropping through the river, eh?
yeah. And my thought for this evening is to pick a spot over here for a ground blind and set up there. Tonight's our last night here in Kansas, so hopefully we make something happen tonight.
Okay. See, there's a new rub here since I was here last.
Yeah, there was actually a buck rubbing on that when I was in the stand. Fork was rubbing on that. I had another fork just behind me in the woods there, so a lot of activity here. All right, so we came over to this area. It's not too far from where my stand was. Gonna sit here tonight. Kind of made this little blind and put a few dead logs here to add a little camouflage and some dead logs to sit on. So deer have been coming along the edge of that field right there, and then they cut in the woods here, come around that side, and they've also been coming, you know, across the little creek here. I've seen them cross that creek right over here.
Yeah.
So they might be crossing anywhere here. I've seen deer come in here. Sometimes they come behind me, but sometimes they disappear. So I think they're crossing the creek here somewhere.
So last day, try to push the limits and get as close as possible.
Get a good shot. I got good shooting window here and pretty open here. So if he comes in, he's gonna get it.
So here's John's stand. We're going to have to move him forward a little bit. And John was here till about, what, 10 o'clock? 10 a.m.?
10 a.m., yeah.
And that scrape was over there with the piss in it.
Yeah.
We get over to this tree. There's another scrape just ripped up feet from his stand. Obviously marking that he's here, I think.
Yeah.
And if you look right here, I don't know if it'll show up on video, but there's a hand-sized print in there. That is a giant buck. Look at that. I put my whole hand in that print.
Yeah, that wasn't there when I got down this morning.
You need to kill that thing tonight.
I try. Damn thing's teasing me.
Yeah, I mean, literally look. Right here is where John lays all his stuff down. See how the grass is compressed before he goes up the tree?
Yeah.
And that buck made a scrape right here. He's obviously marking you, like he's upset that you're here.
Yeah.
And he did that in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Well,
We were only gone a few hours.
went to lunch and came back, yeah.
Yeah, we were only gone a few hours.
Damn thing. And that was really all I saw. Last day of the hunt, we had a great hunt. Saw deer every day, so I can't complain. And looking forward to coming back. As soon as I got set up, I had a little fork buck coming by me to my right through the wood line. I wasn't even ready for the thing. I barely got my stand. I got, you know, my crossbow cocked and everything ready to go. And here comes a little fork buck. So that was pretty cool. So then about a half an hour later, I see 8-point buck kind of skirting the cornfield and the wood line. And then he dashed into the wood line and never saw him again. And then pretty soon here comes 4 does come out, maybe 100 yards from me. A little bit further along the wood line to the south of where I was. And those does started to, I think it was 2 adult does and 2, this year's fawns. They started to work their way towards me, and one of the adult does got downwind of me, maybe 20 yards. And it got my scent. I knew something was wrong. Started blowing maybe 8-10 times. Stomping its hoof, blowing, looking in the woods, wondering like, what's making all that stink that I smell?
So didn't it run off?
No, it didn't run off. It was the weirdest thing because typically when they do that, they're just like gone. It just kind of stomped around a little bit and then gave up and went back to eating the spilled corn from the harvester that was out in the field.
So just started eating after smelling?
Yeah. After all that, 5-10 minutes of blowing and making a racket, it just gave up and said, well, I don't know what's making that smell, but I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat this corn that the harvester spilled. All of a sudden I see some little critter coming down the side of the wood line between the corn and the woods. Or it's kind of a creek that goes through there. And I'm like, what is that? Is that a bobcat? Because I had seen a bobcat the day before. Got my binos out and got it on there, and it's like, no, that's a badger coming down the side. And it's like, Dan said he saw a badger earlier in the day, and it's like, maybe that's the same one. It's kind of far away, but
Yeah,
you know.
you'd have to swim the river and and go the other direction.
I'm
But
like, that's weird. There's a badger coming this way, and the deer saw the badger, and the deer did not like that badger coming by. It chased it back into the woods. It literally ran over there after the thing. It was the weirdest thing.
you don't want to run? Should I get out and pet him?
Yeah, I think so.
How you doing? Oh, he's got a broken leg. His leg's broke. You break your leg? Hmm? Ooh. Geez, if it was daylight, I'd shoot him.
Maybe he was hit by a car?
Yeah, you know what, John? If it was daylight, I'd shoot him. I'd put my tag on him.
Yeah.
Just because he's like that. But
You hate to see him suffer, yeah.
yeah. Well, this cruelty of nature.
I don't know if he got hit by a car or somebody.
Yeah,
Somebody stuck in here.
He may have been caught in a fence.
Well, that could be. He does have a bad leg. I mean, he was like.
I don't think anybody hit him on a car in this road. I mean, it's gravel road.
You think maybe some hunter?
No, I think he got caught in a fence or something. His leg is definitely broke.
Yeah.
Oof! God! Did you see that?
Yeah.
Just drive past him.
He's not strong enough. We'll let him go.
Yeah.
He's not strong enough to make that jump.
Ugh.
That's too bad.
So I've come back to an area where the roads are all mudded out, so we can only get to about 1.5 miles that way, and I've walked around here and probably put on about 2 miles, and I'm just starting to find sign. I mean, you can see it coming off the private property on the back side of this, but up in here it's been all beans and all dried up. I'm hoping there's corn. There's a hidden field back here I got to get to, but I'm getting a lot of sign as I'm getting closer. A lot more than there should be for just a dried up bean fields. Definitely picking up as we get closer. Yeah, look at this one here. That's really high up. See that? In there. Going over that knoll. Yeah. And that one's pretty fresh. Still green. I scouted my way in from over here. I found a whole bunch of scrapes and rubs and stuff getting heavier as I came here. Other end of this property didn't look very good at all. I actually, from past experience, I recommended that to Greg, and he went back there and he said it didn't look very good. He saw a buck that had a bunch of twine stuck in its head and a doe, and that was it. And a buck with twine was just like a 6-pointer or something, but I just felt like this had to hold something. And I thought, all you really need is corn. Over there it's all beans. And I know that the property owner over there has a whole bunch of huge bucks on his land, and the property owner over there has a bunch of huge bucks on his land, and this is a huge property. It's been kind of isolated because the roads coming in here are dirt roads, and they were so muddy you couldn't drive them. Now it's finally gotten dry enough to come back here, so I'm hoping I don't get company. I walked back here yesterday, but today it is dry enough from all this wind and heat, it warmed up a little, that you can drive back here pretty easy. But there are heavy tracks going back and forth in here. There's some really good cedar fingers over here where I think they might be bedding. It might be the does, it might be the bucks and the does, I don't know.
but there's all kinds of draw system down in here. And everything kind of meets right here. And I get the wind coming across the field, and I can see there's all kinds of fresh tracks in there, even since I've been here. And I can come in from over here, right through a cow pasture, and come right up my tree, and never go over there. And they're just passing through right here, between the cedar, that thicket right here, and these draws, and the thickets and draws and fingers here. I don't know if we'll see anything, but it kind of looks good. I guess we're just going to check it out and find out if my assumptions are right. I did not see anything on that evening hunt, not a single deer. But the next morning I returned to the same spot because I felt like all those tracks, bucks had to be going through there. Maybe they were cruising in the morning. Right at gray light, when it was just barely legal, I heard a snap behind me. I had just gotten in the stand, just got the camera set up, and I looked over my shoulder, and there was a nice buck slipping into the tree line beside me. I turned on the camera, and I had a completely black screen. I started messing with the settings because I knew there was enough light if I had it set correctly. And finally, I got the settings right, and the light to come on, and I turned, and the buck was already coming in. He's still standing. Jesus Christ, I think I hit him high. Go down, come on. Come on, go down. Oh, that's not good. He's still standing there. No, I can't see him. I don't know where he went. I could see the arrow hit him a little high. I felt rushed because it's so silent. He heard me draw, and I rushed it. I know what I did. I rushed it, and I shot too fast. I hit him a little high. I think he dropped a little too. I don't know. I'm going to have to look at the footage. Good buck. I hope I'm in the top of the vitals, but if I had both lungs, he should have dropped. He should have dropped. He shouldn't have made it that far. It did look like he laid down over there. Jeez, I'm just sick. I don't know. It was in the chest area, but a little high. But if I got the top of both lungs, he should have dropped halfway across that field. It's a long distance. He came out of the pasture behind me. I heard something. I looked over and there's a buck behind me. I had a really hard time in this dead silence getting the camera on and stuff. But I got it on. He finally made it into field, got in front of me, and I was having a hard time changing the lighting so the camera could record. Where he disappeared, it almost looked like he laid down there, just trying to make out if I could see him, but I can't. A good possibility he just dipped down into the ditch to wash out over there and walked across. But he was walking at that point. It looked like I could be in the lungs, but high in the lungs. But man, you'd think he'd have dropped running, and then you think he would have, when he stopped, flicked his tail and stuff, you think he would have just dropped right there. That's got me worried. Hopefully I connected with something. The arrow was sticking back out of him about that far. But that would leave, probably more than half of the arrow in them, which is probably through them. It's probably through both sides, I'm hoping. I think I got into that far shoulder a little bit. I'm not sure. I needed to be about this much lower. That much lower would have heart punched him. God, what a trip. Sure hope we find him. Make up for all this bad happening. There's my stand up there. At first I heard something over here, and he walked off that ledge down here, and I saw him disappear into here. And I figured he was coming over here. So I got my stuff ready. And he popped out right there. That's where I shot him. There's where he was standing. I could see the run track right here. So he was right here when I hit him. Which, it's about 20 yards. So then he ran straight that way hard. There's a hunk of meat. I see no blood, but there's meat, and that meat is on the back side, so I think the arrow did get all the way through. So, jump so far I can't even see where, oh, here his tracks are here. Going through here. Yeah, that's a good track. There he goes here. There's a track here. No blood on the corn stalks. So we are about 70 yards from the tree stand, and here's first blood right here. It's bright red. Yeah, that's not very much blood at all. Here's some spurts there. Following the tracks through here, I know some blood spray over here, and I see here's the front half of my arrow right here. It's got a good amount of blood on it, but must have broke off from the shoulders. So the arrow did go through. I don't see the other end of the arrow, the front half. That should fall out too pretty soon, I would think. But, So I got full penetration. So we are over 100 yards. And this is where the blood first really starts, where he stood here. But this is where he's walking, that's why I'm finding blood. But, yeah. There's a lot of blood right here. Look at that. Yeah, I don't see bubbles though. But he went down this draw. Man, if he got back up that hill, I would say he's pretty freaking healthy, because that's like a cliff going down there. And these muddy fields out here, you can follow these tracks forever. I'm still on his track, about 700 or 800 yards. He's just walking along, and he has very, very little blood coming out. Pretty sure it's a shoulder hit. It's just meat, just right through the meat. We're getting close to the land border now. Been walking quite a ways. I haven't seen blood in quite a while either, but I'm still on this track. Oh, there's some right there. Right there at the tip of my bow. Little specks here and there. Well, I followed that deer's tracks.
losing them occasionally because there's very little blood. But in the end, I picked them up in another field and tracked them for about 8/10 of a mile from where I shot him. And then he crossed the road onto some private. And I could see across those fields for probably a quarter mile. Glass, everything. There wasn't even trees out there. Tilled fields. That buck is still running. There was very little blood. That one splash of blood that looked good was the only spot. It was bad. I just went through the shoulders. Kudos to that day 6 broadhead for getting through both shoulders, but it didn't hurt the deer. I knew right away when I found that broken arrow that the only thing that would have broke that arrow run through a wide open field is the action of the shoulders snapping that in half because it wasn't hitting any brush. It was a stubble field. I like to blame my equipment every time something goes wrong. It ain't really the excuses, it's just that you try to find something you can fix. But this was 100% me. I rushed that shot, and every time I rush a shot, I always hit high. Always. Don't know why. But I shouldn't have rushed that shot. I mean, I felt overconfident probably, which is why I probably pushed it. I mean, it was a freaking 18 to 20 yard easy shot. And that's the thing, you come down here, you pound your ass off, you get one crack. And if you get that crack, you gotta make it count.
But yeah, it was an awesome hunt. I mean, first time in Kansas. Not any big forests here, but draws and pockets of woods and wood rows, and the deer hold up. You gotta do a lot of scouting, and once you find the sign, then you kind of know where they're at, and then all the work is up to you and play it right. And
Yeah, you really had to
careful.
like search properties to find the pockets of deer.
Yes,
You had to check a whole bunch of the public areas until you
Yep.
find a pocket of them.
miles and miles we walked to check, for sign. But you look at a spot and it looks awesome, but no tracks. There's no deer. They
Yeah.
either got pushed out and they're somewhere else, and you just gotta give it up and go somewhere else and find tracks, and then there's deer there.
And unlike John, me and you had to find spots, and then they'd get burnt out, and then you got to find more spots.
Yeah, John.
His deer do not burn out.
Yeah. First place he went to, he was on deer right away, and the whole week he sat in the same stand and saw deer
Every
day.
single set.
Every day, yeah, every set. Yeah, twice a day, because we go out in the morning and then right in the day.